Hello everybody, this is your old friend RJ City, and today I'll be watching and reacting to all the intros from MadTV. I used to watch it, a lot when I was a child and a young adolescent. It was on for a very long time, but in Canada, I feel like we got it after it started getting popular, and then it left before it truly dipped. Or did it ever dip? I have no way of telling because of the country I was raised in. But there are a lot of people I remember, and a bunch of people I probably don't remember, and I know who they are, and I probably like that work. So let's go through them one at a time, shall we? Without any further ado, all the intros to MadTV. Oh, wow. I just reminded me, like, it's Mad Magazine, it's Alfred E. Newman, it's that whole thing. It was relied heavily on that at the time. Brian Callen, I do not remember at all. Who's next? It was all Alfred E. Newman. They thought, this is how we'll sell this, because I don't remember David Herman either. And then later on, when it got popular, they're like, we can drop that. Orlando Jones, of course, I remember, I believe, Drumline's Orlando Jones. Phil Lamar is one of the greatest. He was in Pee-wee's Broadway show, too. He's fantastic. Artie Lang, I think, was misplaced on his sketch show. He was too much. Mary Scheer, I do not remember. Nicole Sullivan, of course I remember. She's also on The King of Queens. She was really, her and Deborah Wilson were holding the show together in the beginning. As far as I'm concerned, an underrated team, an underappreciated team. MadTV is one of those shows where, like, I hate the show, but there's so many sketches and so many people I love. Just altogether, I didn't like it. David Herman, still don't remember him. Phil Lamar, they have no. Will Sasso, of course. This is one of those things where, like, Ari Spears in the second season, I don't remember these intros at all. They seem all over the place. Chris Hogan, I remember. Alex Bornstein, of course, obviously. Pat Kilbane, I remember. He was the Bizarro Kramer. Oh, God. That's Phil Lamar. He's so talented. And you know how small they started because they're using impressions as fake guest stars. Was it a parody of SNL? That's one of those weird things. They didn't really know. This feels a little more in living color. This feels regressive, this intro. It feels very early 90s. Mo Collins, another one of my favorites. She was amazing. Pat Kilbane did do a lot of good work, and that should be recognized. But Phil Lamar is at the top of my list of underrated comedians. Phil Lamar. UPS guy was a tour de force. Ari Spears, you know, he was also one of the early breakouts to me. They had a good crew, I'll say that. Michael McDonald, obviously. And I wonder why he didn't parlay more into movies or more into other shows. Because he really, you know, Stewart was a big deal. This also still feels a little SNL to me. These little profile shots here. I don't know how to explain it. Pat Kilbane did a Howard Stern. I didn't realize that. Phil Lamar's just an excellent actor, too. Beyond just being a comedian, you know. Michael McDonald always has very pretty eyes, and they confused me. I didn't know if they were always like that, or if he did something to them. Will Sasso was really peak 90s. He would do the WWE stuff, too. He did the WCW crossover. Nicole Sullivan, again, and Deborah Wilson are my team. If I had to pick a team for the show, it would be them. Who's Brooke Totman? Not ringing a bell. I mean, my apologies to Brooke Totman. I'm sure Brooke Totman is a very nice person. Okay, this is maybe the intro I remember. Maybe, maybe not. I do not remember Nelson. Alex Bornstein. Mrs. Swan is taking off here, so I should be remembering all of this. And the old woman that Mo Collins said, I believe her name was Lorraine. She was excellent. This is like the peak of those popular characters. This almost feels like in the beginning of the internet. So all these characters that would be popular like a decade later, people like, but they have no way of sharing them and talking about them. What a sad, simple time. Deborah, I remember, she did a very cutting Oprah. Andrew Dale, I forgot he was featured on this. Stephanie Weir was, again, also great on the show. What was Richard Lewis doing on the show? Yeah, so they finally got 3 or 4 seasons in, they finally got a guest star, and it was Richard Lewis. Odd choice. And was Matt on Fox? This I remember. See, I remember this. Yeah, Frank Caliendo. Okay, I'm remembering all this now, especially the announcer. he's driving it home for me. And the big rumor was that this show is basically repurposed from John Leguizamo's sketch show, if I'm correct. They took enough of the players and then just slapped MadTV's logo over it. And that's the thing, it's almost like National Lampoon, too. Obviously, a lot of people came out of it. But it's just confusing branding. Because it's not like the magazine. You know what I mean? It's just funny. Funny is fun. Taran Killam? Oh, wow. I just got beaten over the face with 90s. I had no idea Taran Killam was on this show. That's insane. Okay, this one I remember, because I remember his Rod Rowdy in the background. I remember this logo on the street. All of this I remember. And this is when they did Michael Hitchcock, of course, Bobby Lee, but Michael Hitchcock did that Lillian Werner game show. That I remember. John Voight, Paul Voight, I don't know how to say his name. He'll come up soon, I assure you. Stephanie Weir's coming into her own. Got the red hair, and look out, world. Deborah's hard into doing Oprah. Baron Holtz, I remember, of course, on the show. It's Josh's Seth's brother, and he was also in Paul Vogt, not John Vogt. Jesus. Allegedly failed wrestler Joe Millionaire Evan Marriott. I want to look up his career and see why he didn't last in the ring. I remember reading about that. Ike is at the top of the list here. Good for him. Oh, unless this is just alphabetical. Whatever. This is definitely, absolutely the intro I remember. I didn't realize it was so much later on in the run. See, it did start very small, and then it got bigger, and good for them. There was absolutely room for another sketch show. Especially, like, in those early internet days when there was nothing. Ron Peterson, I know, I love, and he's fantastic and hilarious. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything negative about him. He's wonderful, and you should seek him out and all his work. And Paul has a nice shirt on there. It's something my uncle would wear. But they would both look very smart in it, you know? Danielle Gaither, I remember. Nicole Parker, who was also in Martin Short's one-man show, I remember. And, of course, Jordan Peele looks like he's, 12 years old in that by comparison. And now he's so smart and thoughtful. And really, Key and Peele is an extension of this. It's basically the same format. Which is also a weird format. It's like some of it's live, and then the rest is clearly taped. It's very unusual. And then, of course, Keegan-Michael Key, the Key and Peele, they bonded and they said, let's just keep doing this. Bobby Lee's got a little red on the tip of his hair, and it's adorable. Michael McDonald, again with the pretty eyes. You understand what I'm saying? Nicole Parker was also very good. Like, a very strong women on the show. Ron Peterson, even with a leather shacket, is fantastic. That outfit does not change my opinion on how wonderful he is. Mary Spears just wearing the hat. There's a little Ken Griffey Jr. with the backwards hat. It was very controversial at one time. And Stephanie, yes, I think Stephanie Weir's the only person. People from the amazing. This is how long ago it was that reality shows were genuinely mainstream popular. I was going to say Stephanie Weir seems to have different hair every single intro. Quite a feat. Frank looks, stunned. He looks caught off guard there. Oh my God, I remember her too. It's so nice to see all these people like old friends. You know what I'm saying? And they did all a good job, I think. Collectively, there was something about, maybe it was the hour this show would come on, where it was something that, like, you would only see you were at a sleepover. Nice bronzer on Michael McDonald there. Dear Lord. Arden Marine is also hilarious. Also very funny. This is really a good cast. I feel like if you compare the hit to miss ratio of MadTV to SNL, if you go cast member by cast member, I think MadTV wins. Pamela Anderson, they were really deep into what the 90s were. And the early 2000s. This is past 90s now. It's wrong to brush them with the 90s paintbrush. I'm so sorry. Shades of In Living Color. Now they're hanging out on the back lot, and it's late at night, which is, inauthentic. Everyone gets up in the morning to do this. I think we know that about sketch shows now. But this is very like, ooh, they've left us the keys to the office. That kind of vibe. Oh, we're controlling the booth. He looks very handsome, and I'm sure he continues to. Arden is also very funny. All these people are funny. I'm just like, it's so weird that I didn't like this show, but then I liked so many sketches from it, and then so much of the cast I love. I go, all these people are wonderful. No, the music box. I don't know what this is. Maybe this is like a reunion show? Why would you change the song? Is this like the new MadTV? Did they reboot it? This is either a reboot or a reunion because people are coming back and I'm confused by it. But everyone looks good and healthy, and they seem to be having a nice time. See, Jordan Peele's getting much smarter, but he took the glasses off for a period. Maybe his management said, try not being so smart, you know? Wow. Hugh Laurie, Chris Evans, Cedric the Entertainer. It's good to see that trio back together again. This is, okay, alright. I guess this isn't a reunion show. I don't remember this at all. They must have completely took this off the air in Canada. Where did they film this? And did they, it looks like a tremendous amount of people there. There's no way they sold that many tickets to every episode, nor should they. It's just overwhelming. I do not remember Erica Ash. Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't realize he was on this show either. Eric Price, I do not know. Lauren Pritchard, I do not know. Who's the guest stars? Nobody. That was the thing. There was maybe a lack of consistency in MadTV. I feel like I was yelling over that because it was really, really loud. But what a guest list. And who can forget Sting was on once, David Arquette was on, Bret Hart, and even Triple H, who is weird on it. I remember him just being weird. I remember going, does he want to be on here? Does he know what's happening? I'm sure he did. It was just odd. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel bad how much I labeled this as a show I did not like. When it had so many sketches, I remember. And more than that, it has so many people that not only I liked, but I think went on to do good things. Not maybe Frank TV, but there's other things. You know, there's a tremendous amount of work there. I feel like if you add up the successful shows, you add up the awards, and you do the ratio, they really do blow SNL out of the water. Not to say, I mean, SNL is still going on. I mean, maybe that's the victory here. That MadTV is no longer happening. But nevertheless, those peak years were hot. They were happening. And who do I want to mention again? Phil Lamar, Ron Peterson, Deborah Wilson, Nicole Sullivan, Nicole Parker, and Paul Vogt and his shirt. I want to apologize to all of you, and I aim to rectify my mistakes.